Hey, it is Thursday, but we're going to pretend it's Friday. So happy Friday. I know that I'm going to be busy all day tomorrow, so I'm going to go ahead and do a Flip Friday for you today. If you're new, Flip Friday is where I tell you about items that I have flipped online for a profit. It's my side hustle. I buy cheap locally and then sell on Poshmark, eBay, and Etsy. This first item to show you was a brand I had never heard of before. It's a brand called Tentree, Tentree. It felt like really nice quality, which is why I purchased
Mama. And Mama.
it. You see Mama? That's a Mama. I grabbed it for, yes, 25 cents. It was really soft. It had good branding, which is always something I like and am aware of. Each little snap down the front had the logo of Tentree on it. It had a little leather patch that said Tentree. When I looked it up, apparently it's kind of an ethical company. For every item purchased, they plant 10 trees. Anyway, it had a lot of activity. I paid 25 cents and sold it for $20. Next up was a pair of Levi's 511s.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got them in the men's section on the as-is work rack, as I normally do, and they were 32-inch waist by 34-inch length, so kind of long and lean, and I knew I could market those toward a woman, and I did, and so I was very happy with the $22 sale. I apologize for the noisy toddler that keeps interrupting. The next item was this little carved gourd. It was maybe 4 inches, 5 inches. It was very small. It did have a lid that came off. It was hand carved, maybe like a hollowed out kind of pumpkin gourd thing.
Hi.
She's back.
Hi.
Hi, baby. So I paid 25 cents for it. When I got it home, I realized it had a little pink spot. It almost looked like a highlighter Sharpie marker had leaked on it or something. So I took a fine tip paintbrush and some paints, and I did random painting spots all over it to blend in the pink that was there. So I hit it with pink and turquoise and orange and just made it all look intentional. And it was a very pretty gourd. I believe it was from Peru, and it sold for $15. Next up were a pair of men's Lucky brand jeans, super basic, again from the men's work section. They had paint splatters and some wear on them, but I grabbed them for $1 and sold them for $23 within about 2 days. Next up was a pair of Bruno Magli shoes. I'll be honest, I had never heard of that brand either, but we were at an estate sale and there were a lot of high-end items there. So I knew the woman had expensive taste. These were snakeskin. They were vintage. They had their original like dust bags that they, came in. I think I probably could have gotten a lot more than $28, but I was just in a mood to accept an offer and I didn't want to hold out, so I was happy with that profit margin, 94 cents into $28. This made me so happy. So happy. It was just a dress on a rack of vintage dresses. They were each $2. But when I grabbed it, I noticed the shoulder pads. So I'm like, okay, this is 80s. Then as I was inspecting it, I realized the buttons said US Air. It was a flight attendant uniform. I used to be a flight attendant, so I have a really soft spot for anything aviation related. I knew somebody was going to want that dress. So I snatched it for $2, and I was so excited that it sold to someone who's going to love and care for the dress for $55. Okay, I had to take care of the toddler and change locations. The last item I was showing you was a vintage Stetson Fedora hat. It was a straw hat, which isn't typical of Stetson. It was cool because in the inside it had an original sticker where it had sold from this little country store in the middle of Kansas for like $7.99. But I sold it for 21. I think I could have gotten a fair amount more, but it was one of those weeks where everything was just stagnant, nothing was moving, and I wanted to trigger some sales. And so that tends to trigger the algorithm if you start pushing sales through. Okay, one last location change. Sorry. The last item I had to show you this week was this adorable little vintage, it was about 3 inches tall, porcelain made in Japan Disneyland dish. It had jousting knights on it. Couldn't quite figure out what that was, other than maybe Sword in the Stone. I don't know. It had a lid, so it was shaped like a mug, which would make me think it's a mug, but then it had a lid, which makes me think maybe it's a sugar dish. I don't know. It had gold trim. It was so cute. I don't know the year, but I listed it high because there was nothing comparable at all. So I listed it at $72, shot in the dark. Somebody offered me $50, and I was like, you bet. I will absolutely take 50 on that. So 94 cents into $50 on a vintage Disneyland dish. So if you haven't followed very long, I do my side hustles because I'm on a journey toward financial independence, and I invest every dollar I can scrape up. I absolutely love hustling and making extra money. If you want to join me on Robinhood, I will give you my link. You get a free stock if you join Robinhood through me. If you decide to join Poshmark, use code TheRustedChain and you'll get $10 off your first purchase there.